Hello Airbenders, I'm Melanie Florence and this is the Hot Tea Weekly, Hot Tea for the Soul. Here we are. So air, you might have a lot of air in your charts, or you're here for your intellect, your mind, your anxiety, your thought processes. That's what our air and our intellect's about. Breathing, breathing, asthmatic, always important. So I am going to give us a Greenwood reading for this week, see where the energy's at for our air signs. At the end, I'm going to give individual star signs. So to start with, at the beginning, I'm going to give us a little bit from a few different decks and see what we got, and a bit of storytelling from a couple of Australian decks that I got last year that I'm still working to learn of, and so like to read them out, see what we get from them. Like sometimes it's the whole meaning we can be intuitive. Let's see what they say. Anyway. Let's get there. What have we got? I'm going to start with the Earth Magic, because I like a little bit of Earth Magic. I'm a bit earthy. This is sort of why I do these in elements. I break them up in elements. Okay. Rain, purification. Okay. So, rain is fertile. I love it when the rain comes down. We come in, Australia is a country of drought. And so when the rain comes in, you actually know that it feels fertile. You feel it nourishing. You feel it nourishing and purifying. You see everything's cleaner. You can see that the streets are washed. And this is a purification. You can see the plants have got it. The food, they've got their leaves are beautiful. And so here we have this purification, this energy for you, this rain. And so it may feel like it's raining on your life. Let's not see it as raining on your parade. Let's see this as a cleansing ritual. So this rain is going to come through and purify things for you, air peeps. All right, nice energy to start with. Okay, this is the what do they call it? The wild unknown archetypes. What have we got? That's shapeshifter. Oh, we've got shapeshifter. So this is mutating your shape. It can go over. You may be changing your shapes. Things might keep mutating in your life that are mutating across and across. So this could be that, you know, things are not in a permanent. They're in a transient sort of like transformation, perhaps. So this could be you invoking that, or this could be that's the circumstance around you that keeps doing that. It keeps morphing, perhaps. Perhaps you see yourself as two different. There's a few different. You've got something inside that you know that you shift to. There's an environment or an energy for you. We're here. We've got a little bit of a shape-shifting energy for you. And here, we've got the village. Right, so we've got the mountain in the background. You don't have to be the mountain. You don't have to be by yourself. This is about coming down from that mountain into the village and talking to the people around you, right? And so this is, you know, really connecting to the services, the community that you have around you, really connecting to your village. So you're morphing through this, but it's a real connection with your village and seeing that there's other people out there, perhaps that are like you. Maybe they're the same sort of weirdo as you, right? Because that's how we all connect in there. We find our other weirdos, right? All right, but this is sort of shape-shifting, and it's going through a purification as you're going through that, right? But really talking to the village. You are not alone, air people. And I've got a gape. Agape, look at those healing candles. Look at those lights that you hold. Look at all of those shining lights coming in. So this is a healing time. This is finding those inner strengths, those inner passions, those inner inspirations. But this is about holding your faith. All of these candles in here, and there's like these stars at the end, which are sort of your wishing stars, but they're all coming in and everything lining together. This is a real healing card, but on a real spiritual level. Nice, that's nice. All right, and one from, because I just love this, the Blessed Bee deck. This is a really accessible deck. And it's got a lot of protection circles in it. You see moons, you see boundaries, and real protections inside of it. It's a real sweet sort of energy. I love it. All right, what have we got for the air peeps this week? All right, what have we got? Spellcasting Oracle. That's what it is. Spellcasting Oracle has come out with protection. And look at this. It's a real healing again, protecting yourself, like protecting your world, protecting your child, protecting your you as a being. This is, you can see this fertile energy, really protective, like really holding on to like a nice fertile spot. Right? So we're protecting our own inside of here. Protection and passion. All right, so this is really driven. This is a driven energy. You're going to feel this passion. And this sort of goes with this agape, where we find all of our inspirations inside of here. We've got our passions driving inside of that. And we got a third on the table. Ooh, answers. Look at the wise man coming through. All right, so we see that. We see this wise man coming through with the answers. Perhaps you have been seeking something. Perhaps you've been waiting for an answer for your protection and your passion. Perhaps you've been waiting for village, but the answer is going to come through. This is sort of an ancestor card. This is, you know, somebody coming through with a message for you, and the answers will present themselves inside of this journey, this shape-shifting as you become something else. It's very transformative. You're going to get the answers that you've been looking for. That's really interesting, air peeps. Okay, so first up, I'm going to give us an Australian wildflower card because I'm a bit of an Australian wildflower myself, right? So, bit of a wildflower. Let's go. What have we got for the air peeps this week? What have we got for the airbenders? Oh, that just jumped over. All right, let's take the top one of those. Oh, the Sturt Desert Rose, South Australia. Sturt Desert P came up for the fire yesterday. Let's see what the Sturt Desert Rose has got for us. Sturt Desert Rose. Dirt P, swamp, Sturt Desert Rose. Here we are. Okay, let's have a look. Look at how beautiful they are. Nice unfurling. They're found through most of the inland of Australia, a soft blush pink or a lilac flower with a red centre as a floral emblem of the Northern Territory. There we are, with an internal water storage system, toxicity to cud-chewing animals, and they delay seed germination. Okay, the desert rose reminds us of our strong flame within and pulls us into the heart. All right, let's remember this agape as well, all right, when we talk about that the inspiration is agape. All right, reminds us of the strong sign with the flame within and pulls us into our heart for us to listen to the message of self-belief and courage. Look within, dig deeper again, and stay true to your core beliefs. There can be a decision looming that can only make you need, and that you can only you can make, and you need to step up. There is also a danger of being easily led. If you are regretful about an issue or feel guilt, now is the time to be brave and clean the slate. Remember too, forgiveness starts with forgiving yourself in order to move on. The flower is a self-confidence booster. Her healing gifts include those surrounding women's cycles, physical issues, and emotional support. The challenges associated with Sturt Desert P are fear brought on by the lack of self-confidence, guilt, and fear of failure. Moving past. All right, so it's having the courage. This is a courage flower to have your passion. This is a courage to get the answers. All right, so things are going to, you can't step back. Don't be led. All right, you don't have to feel guilty. It's a time to forgive yourself, and it starts with forgiving you. Okay, so there's an answer. Okay, so I'm going to pull one more from the Dreamtime reading cards. As the boxes over there. All right. Dreamtime reading cards. What have we got for the air peeps? Ooh, connecting to the ancestors. All right. So we have release. All right, this is letting go. This is releasing your boundaries, letting it flow. This is, you know, it's very Taoist. This is very Taoist kind of card, right? This flow. It's about, you know, really learning to actually move with the flow, not fight the flow. There's an important thing in stepping forward and taking on your passion is that you let go and you forgive yourself of your past fears, right? And you let it flow. You go with the river, right? This is a real important thing to work out how. Sometimes we hold on to our pain instead of letting it go. All right, so we're going to release. Let's see what it actually says, because that's sort of what I'm into with this at the moment. Let's see what it says, because I like what they got to say. Let's give it a little bit more input on the waterfall release. Okay. So everything with the Aboriginal culture, if you guys didn't know, sort of happens from above. And a lot of these pictures, you're looking at the water flow of how this is sort of moving and dropping and moving and dropping. And a lot of the Aboriginal sort of actually do it from an aerial view, believe it or not. A lot of their stuff. So it is strong and powerful, and much water flows down its rocky face. There are two waterfalls known as the Twin Falls where I live, and they fall on Jurong Plateau. Communication involves ideas being shared and discussed. When said with anger, words tumble forward, falling with such force that they can hurt and destroy those around them. Rather than let your emotions explode, allow your emotions to flow and feeling to fall and roll and flow out with regularity. almost continuously, sharing your thoughts and ideas, and is really important at this time, whether it is through spoken word or even written word. You need to communicate with overflowing that the waterfall card indicates that you are feeling emotionally at this time. Do not let your emotions build up. Say how you feel and be honest to those around you. There is a possibility for arguments and emotional outbursts when you pull this card, but just speak honestly and openly and allow others to do the same. Emotions with controlled release flow with strength and purpose. Communication is the gift that the waterfall holds. Let it flow. All right, and so this is actually saying don't block it out. It's like we sort of we want to hold back our emotions sometimes, right? So that we don't hurt or da-da-da, but you need to have an overall release. And you know what? Singing for me has always been a good one for this. If I get in and I sing a song, sometimes I'm emoting through it and I can release stuff depending on what you pick, I guess. All right, but this is really letting the emotions. It might get angry outbursts, but it's about talking honestly, talking calmly, letting them flow. Don't block them up. Everybody's got to let them flow. You know, you can't be an emotional retard. This is saying let them go. Be the waterfall. Let the emotions flow through. It's very meditative. Like when you're doing meditation, they're like, if you hear the thought, recognize the thought and let the thought go. You know, and that's what this is. Feel the emotion. Don't block it up and let it flow and move forward with that emotion. All right, waterfall. Beautiful. All right, we've got a lot of stuff on the table. It's good. This is good. So next I'm going to do the Greenwood reading. Thank you for still being here, Airbenders. If you have enjoyed this, please hit like and subscribe. It's good for me. It's good for you. It's great. We all get to keep in contact. So I'm going to give us a Greenwood reading, and that's going to be a step through. So it's an 8, I think, maybe not 8, 9 card reading. Might count them at the end. And it goes through your conscious, your subconscious, your challenges, what we've got going on. So let's see what the Airbenders have this week. I'm going to turn deck down. I'm clearing table as we're talking. All right, let's give us room so you can see what's going on. Bang, bang, bang. My thing on a spring. Okay. So, the first card is your present state. What have we got for the Airbenders this week? Give me 1 second. Let's give this a little bit of a... I don't ever do this very well, and these cards are not necessarily the cards I do it with. Let's give it a big shuffle. I think I just put the fire reading on top. So, let's move things around a bit, hey? Let's give it a big shuffle. Okay. Let's do this. First card, present state. Let's see what we got for the Airbenders this week. Ooh, communication. This is an air card. All right, so this is communicating in a very precise precision. This may be business-wise. This guy he's got his sort out and he's not wasting time. He's got places to go. He's not wasting his energy. So he's saying what he wants. He is really, really honing in on what the directions are and where he wants to go. It can be a very career-driven card, but this guy isn't mincing words. He's on his way to somewhere, and that's our air sign, our air element hawk, our air element knight. Okay. So that could be you or somebody you know. Could be how the energy is around you at the moment, really communicating yourself in very direct ways. All right? Being very direct about how this is going and not mincing around, not wasting energy. And the next card is your spiritual mediator. It's the next energy that surrounds us that you can meditate on, that you can work with around you. Creativity. All right, so we go from the 2 of stones. Stones are being practical and material. We go from the 2 of stones, that is the... is the challenge of making your money. Here we're being creative. This is pulling together your resources. This is pulling together your creativity. This is knowing that you can create a life around you on a very physical level, that you can actually pull things together. You know, you go through the challenge and then you start pulling it together creatively. This doesn't mean you have to be getting into mosaics. This is really like you might be creatively working your budget and your abundance and how you're actually moving that around. All right, being the hawk inside might be business. That you're being a bit creative in how you pull that together. So the next card is our conscious will. It's what we consciously think about what's going on. Oh, I'm going to go with the top card. So so consciously you think this is a bit. It's not fair. And it's not just, and there are things that have gone wrong, and the bow is broken, and there is communication that is not necessarily getting through correctly, and you don't think that this is fair. It's unjust what's been going on. you know, and so this is about being blindfolded to some communications. It's also being protected by that. Sometimes what you don't know doesn't hurt you, but there is this is a conscious thing that it's been a bit unfair. The scales have been tipped this year. Like from the beginning of last year, we sort of had the glass already poured half out, and we've all been sitting looking at that halfway line. This is saying on a very mind level, like, this is not fair. Something's not fair. It's not fair. But this is the truth. You know the scales have been tipped and they're not balanced. Things aren't balanced in their circumstance. The next card is the driving force. It's the driving force. Source of your power. What's going on? Source of your power. All right. Source of your power, air people. Is exactly that. I did a big ass breath. This is a breath of life. This is a new communication. This is communicating yourself in a new way. This is this hawk. You're going to communicate. The source of your power is saying this is unfair, that I've created this stability, I've created this, and I'm the hawk. This is going to change, right? So this is like that one we step back to. I need to create. The source of your power is actually expressing yourself. A breath of fresh air, expressing the truth. As long as you're expressing the truth truthfully, then you're having courage to face the things you need to, the injustice that you might need to face in here. This breath of fresh air, this ace, is taking a nice big breath so you can regroup. And that's the thing, is your source of your power is communicating yourself at this point. And you're an air element. This is what the air element's about, communicating themselves. And this is no screwing around with this hawk. You've shape-shifted, you're talking to your community, you've got new inspiration. Okay, so, just jumps out. What is the underlying? This is the unconscious empathy. What you're unconsciously thinking about. All right. So this is passion in your pants, right? This is the night. This one is about communication. This guy is about talking. This guy is direct, contracts and those sort of things. This guy is still seeking his spiritual path. So this is an fire element. And fire, we're talking about passion and lust and spirituality and drive and desire, all right, and how we put those things together. So this guy can be seen as the bachelor card, but this is is not settling down, because is still searching for the things he believes in. He's got a divining rod. So it's a little bit cunning and stuff. It might be that you've got your eye out on your passions and that you are looking at all those sort of things. It might be that you're involving yourself with somebody like this, that it may have a little bit of player energy, and that's what's keeping your thinking about in the background. But this is like, I'm not settling down energy. This is, I'm still spiritually searching energy on a masculine level, like with our knight. So what is the next thing that we need to work on? Our challenge. What's our challenge? All right, so what's the challenge for the air peeps? Ooh, to find joy. Joy is an action. Joy is an action word. It's participation. It's a participation in love. It's participation in seeing the romantic side of the sunset. It's participation in seeing that you've got hope. So joy is an outcome, but it's from our participation in the moment and learning to live in the love of the moment. So your challenge at the moment is you're not feeling joy in all of this. So your challenge inside of this, and what you need to work with, and what you need to work with is what you need to work on is finding your joy, how to fill the cups. You've got 2 cups of attraction, and the 1 cup extra makes the joy. So what are the things that will reignite your heart, not your mind, not your spirit, but your actual heart and your love? Because it's really important in this card to find joy, because this is our next challenge. This is our spot to work on. What do we get to work on with it? What is our healing element inside of this? What's going to help? What are we going to work on? What are we going to work with? Challenge versus healing element. What are we going to work with the air peeps this week? Ooh, what are we going to work with? Ooh, jealousy. So this is this one step further. Here they don't know what the issue is. Here they do know what the issue is. There's a third level of communication. So this could be a third party situation where the healing element is the jealousy, that it makes things worse perhaps. Perhaps you are looking at what somebody else has got and you're a bit jealous of that, and you're like, I sort of want it. But As my sister wisely said a few months ago, this card is about getting to the heart of the matter, and you can see it in this card. All right, it really is getting to the heart of the matter. It's communication that gets to the heart of the matter. All right, that really breaks this down. So we've got 3 and 3 on the table in here. There's movement in these cards. All right, to find your joy, you're going to have to get to the heart of the matter. All right, air peeps, this is very airy. There's a lot of mind going on in this. We've got a balance, but, you know, this is really combating, you know, this injustice, and breathing and talking your truth is going to be the talking your truth. You've got the 2 and the 1 that does make you 3. From this 2, you need to express your truth. That is what that is saying, because that is the healing element inside of here. We've got the 2, which is the injustice, and we've got the 1, the speaking the truth. All right, so we know where the scales are here. And this is actually breathing the truth. This is the source of your power to actually speak your truth, breathe a fresh air into this here, getting to the heart of the matter as your healing element. All right, because we've got 1, 2, 3 on the table just here. All right, so what have we got for the outcomes for this week for you? Air element, airbenders. I love this card. All right, the warning on this card is don't get too drunk. Don't disassociate yourself too much from your emotions. But this is our sensory. This is our 5. This is our 5 of emotions. So inside of this lady is dancing in the rivers of life. She is sensory, really enjoying the moment. She is in it. She is intoxicated in it. She really is putting herself out to enjoy and reach out with her senses in her emotions, to be in the moment, to feel this possession. So when you breathe this fresh air of truth through this injustice into the heart of the matter, you're going to come out not just with joy. We're going to jump with joy in this card, because this is about really enjoying your senses. All right, that's where we get to air element people. So overall, this is interesting. We're going to have courage, and there's passion, and we've got our answers. You're going through a purification process as you shift through and morph through. There's a village to support your passion, village to support your light inside of all of this. And we want to keep that light aflame, and you need to release the flow. Keep talking about your emotions, Don't block them up. Really let them out, right? And we're going to breathe this fresh air into this injustice and come out of this dancing in the dew. All right, and this is inspired. You know, this is an inspired dude that is driven and is not finished with getting inspiration. We're talking about it. Air peeps, I love where this is at. So, I'm going to do individual. The individual, I'm going to start with Gemini. I've got 3 cards for Gemini. 3 cards for Gemini. What have I got? Ooh, page of talking. They're still talking. There's a lot of talking. So this is air, page of air. This is the one step before our night. Usually it's an air element child, or this is real communications. This is a lot of communication. This is messages. This is emails. This is talking to people on the phone. This is study. This might be communicating new business ideas, but there's a lot of inspiration, a lot of communication inside of what you've got going on this week. So you might be that you're talking a lot this week, Gemini. What else have we got for Gemini this week? Ooh, the Fool. It is time to step out, step away. Your soul has already made that leap. It has already made that jump away from the circumstance. I really love this card. It's really about opening up and trusting your innocence and removing all your jaded bits, and really knowing that you're heading on a different path. You're communicating that you're heading on a different path. But this is jumping out, and this is the deer. This is the queen of air. All right, and this is the spirit. This is your intellect. You already jumped. Your mind's already jumped. All right, it's waiting for you to follow. Open your arms and jump is what it's saying. Open up and take where this new experience is going. Walk with the flow of the river. Okay, one more for Gemini. What have we got for Gemini? One more for Gemini for this week. For the hot tea. Oh, and you're going to get emotional communication as well. So as you do this and you take this step, you're going to get emotional communications coming through. This could be a water element child, but this is, so there might be communication about a jumping and a move and a water element child in here. Or this is, you know, you're going to get messages and communications as you jump on this path that will actually show you what people around you are going to communicate their emotions to you about how you're going and how this is working. So you're going to have a lot of communication this week. It's time for you to jump. Take a jump, let go of this injustice. Speak the words that release you from your binds, and jump. Because there's new emotions coming your way, and you're going to get a lot of communication coming your way this week. Gemini, I really hope that is for you. Thank you for still being here. I love you guys, and I will catch you next week. Thank you, Gemini. All right, let's turn that over there. So next I have Libra. What have I got for Libra this week? 3 cards for Libra, please. Transition. Okay, 6 of arrows. 6 is always sort of a triumph. We got through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we go 6, and this is sort of a transition or a triumph position in every one. So this is about transition of the mind. Everything that we've been talking about. This is you moving from one place to another, and we remove the emotions. You're traveling the river of emotions. They're underneath you. But this is where you take this transition and say, I'm no longer in the spot that I was in before. I've changed. I've moved from one place to another. All of these battles and stuff, I've made a transition. You guys can still be thinking that, but I've crossed the river and I'm on the other side. And so there's a little bit of, I've changed my mind. But it's not about changing your mind. It's about maturing and moving from one place to another and letting go of the emotions that are connecting with it as you're making that move this across to go to something else. It could be changing a business, could be changing a job, all different things. But this is a transition of the mind. Okay, Libra, what else have we got? Got that one. Oh, so much air in this reading for the air peeps. It's really fun. All right, Libra. So, because this is one step back. All of this is a bit frustrating. And again, we talk about the senses when we're talking about the 5. So this is throwing arrows all over the place and I can't get them to hit. And that's really frustrating. That's really frustrating me. Because what it is though is this is really spinning out all of your ideas. To me, I actually see brainstorming in this. It doesn't mean that every idea that you're going to have is hit the mark. But you might need to go through all of those ideas to move through this transition. You know, you need to, as you're going through this transition, you're releasing your frustrations. We take that one step over to release these frustrations. We're going to let the emotions flow through, all right, so that you can get your passion to flow through. So this is about really, you know, listing those ideas, running through them. You might have 1,000 that don't work, and 1 that does, and that's where we want to go. But this is sort of brainstorming, running through your ideas, feeling them sensory, just like you would your emotions with this card with ecstasy, like when we want to dance inside of this all. But there's a lot of communication, and a lot of what's going on for this week is in the air element for these air element reading. So I really think write some lists as you're going through this transition. Know what your frustrations are, know what your insecurities are, because those things keep you armed for you to actually support yourself, for you to actually build on better places for yourself. What you know you're going through this transition, give yourself a little bit of slack maybe, all right? But there's a lot of frustration going through this, a lot of ideas. There's a lot of ideas going on in this reading in general. One more for the Libras. Librans. Oh, all right. Because this is all about finding this euphoric place. All right, this is the King of Cups, and he is the loving king, and it's stable. He's not fighting for his heart. He's not jumping up to be on the run all the time and being impassioned by his heart. You know, this guy is strong and stable. He's euphoric. You know, you might be having this frustration to work out how you work with this sort of person. If you're an air element person, that this person's a lot more on their emotional side, and your transition, working with them is a bit frustrating perhaps inside of this circumstance. I would also say that, you know, sometimes when we're in our mind a lot, it's like, come back and find the euphoric, come back and find the ecstasy. Let your mind come back and wander and dream a little bit and be lovey and approach it with a nice, strong love energy. This is the sort of guy you want to hug from, right? Because he really means it. But here I'm seeing that there might be a little bit of frustration going on. There is perhaps jealousy. Maybe there's a jealousy or even over this guy. This is still sitting here as your talking point. You need to express yourself. And that breath of fresh air that we've got inside of all of this is really, you know, that 5 and we go back to, we've got the ace on the table. So when we talk about this 5, again, we add that expression in here, and that becomes our transition to finding something maybe a little bit more euphoric, maybe being able to express our ideas better inside of there in our love. All right, thank you, Libra, for being here. Please hit like and subscribe, and I will catch you later. Catch you next week. Next, the last one of the lot in air. For my air, the Aquarians. What do we got for Aquarius? This card just falls out. Okay, this is harnessing your potential energy. So we've got a lot of different energies inside of here. They talk about the sun and the moon, and we've got lightning energy in there, we've got stars and those sort of things. This card is really knowing your potential energy, knowing what you have in your quiver, knowing what your skills are, really honing in on the target, taking that breath, knowing that it's you've tempered, you've trained for this, you know all your skills, and really aiming at your target. This is a strong in the practical world, using your potential energy in the practical world. You know you have companions, you're not alone in this, and this is really gathering that together and that strength of that potential energy that you apply to the world inside of this card. In the Archer, very trained eye. With all of these arrows, it's a very trained eye. You're honing in on this. All right, so what have we got? Two more for Aquarius. Two more for Aquarius. No, take on the challenge. You got to take on the physical challenge to make this creativity. All right, so this is, take on the challenge. Take on your money. Physical challenge. Make it. Make your new life. Make your new, breathe your new thing. Take it on. Say, I can take on this challenge physically. I can take all of this on. I've got the strength. I've got the courage. I've got the passion. I've got the village. I've got the ideas. I know what my heart is inside of all of this. I've got fine aim, and this is saying take on this challenge. You have the potential energy. If you want to take on a business, take on the challenge. You're taking on a new job, take on the challenge. This is really sort of making your money, but really taking on a physical challenge. And so is this card. It's taking everything you know and applying it to the physical world. One more Aquarius. One more Aquarius. The Guardian. All right. It's very important when we go through our darker spots in life that we cross our T's and dot our I's. This is about stepping back, the devil's in the details sort of stuff. So we're scared of the skeletons in our closet, sometimes in our pathway. Some things are made bigger with our anxiety than what they are. But this is really about going through those details, not being distracted perhaps maybe by your passions, not being distracted by your lust, not being temptation. This is really about making one step after the other sturdy. All right, when we build a staircase, we build one step, then we firm that down. When we've got that one set in, then we build the next set and we firm that down. And then you pat it down and then you build the next step. You need to make sure every step is firm before you step up onto the next step. That's what the devil says you need to do. You need to set it up so you can't be knocked down from your foundation. And know what your strength is and know what your path is. And not look at things that are scary. Keep your eye on the path inside of it. And that's what it really is, in the devil being in the details. In this card, the Guardian, as you come through. All right, Aquarius, take on the challenge. You've got the Archer. You have the skills. You just need to make sure that you are methodical in applying the skills in your practical world. This is a Capricorn card, this Guardian card. So really being methodical and taking on the challenge and being confident that you have the skills, Aquarius, to take on this challenge. Let it all flow. Go with the flow. All right, thank you for being here, Aquarius. I really hope you like that. Hit like and subscribe, and I will catch you on the flip side.